All right, Talk the Walk, episode 29. Just back from, I had a really big meal this week. Hey, Bob Stooky's leg. It was crazy.
That was Stooky Burger.
Yeah, Stooky Burger. We should start a Walking Dead restaurant,
right?
And we'll start making like different zombie related food items. And yeah, the Stooky Burger could be one of them.
Stooky Burger.
No, it would have to be a chicken leg or something like that, like the Stooky leg.
Right,
of some
a
sort.
big turkey leg.
All right, man. So a lot happened in the last episode, and we're
did.
We're here like 2 weeks in a row.
I know, right?
And this is like a show first, man. I can't believe it's actually happening. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
that ended too abruptly.
Crazy things keep happening. It's like you want to talk about it. So
yeah. I didn't want to do every other episode because this was kind of a light episode. Like I felt like
it was
like a lot of like little subtle character stuff happened in the beginning. But it was pretty slow,
and then it punches you in the face.
And then at the end, it had the big ending. Yeah. It was all ending. Yeah. And one of our coworkers, Andrew, who took forever to finally watch the episode.
Couldn't talk about it.
We couldn't talk about it for like 3 days after it came out, and I started to just tell him like, "Hey, just watch the last like 3 or 4 minutes of it, and then get back to us." You know.
We told him about, hey, do you get the hint that Bo left you the other day now? And he's like, the hint. And I was like, yeah, about being hungry. He was like, oh, yeah. I was like, that's...
Yeah, I said, dude, I'm so hungry. I could eat Bob Stooky's leg. As if that were like a general statement.
Right.
It should have been a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. I wish I had that. If I had that queued, it would have been perfect.
Now you know.
Let's see. So we have a few items on the news docket. We want to do a quick quick recap of the episode, and then we've got kind of some theories and some stuff to go over.
Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah. Then we got some tinfoil hat stuff. So first off, I read this really interesting article before we did the show today. It was about AMC's stock and how The Walking Dead was boosting. Oh
gosh, I can imagine.
Yeah, but it's more than you might think, though. Like, I was thinking, well, yeah, it's a really popular show. It's making them a lot of money. This article goes into a lot of detail about how, like, producing a show and then getting it put on AMC and what that process looks like. And Breaking Bad is on AMC,
right?
But that show is actually owned by Sony. So, like, if anything, Breaking Bad, I'm sure affects AMC stock because people want AMC because they want to watch Breaking Bad. So that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But like it's not a direct ownership by AMC.
Right. They own, I guess, The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Right. Mad Men, which Breaking Bad, Mad Men, probably the two most popular shows on AMC. Mad Men is owned by Lionsgate. Also not an AMC owned show. But The Walking Dead, however, is a AMC theirs. Show, yeah. This article, it's kind of like a repost. Like the article I'm reading is on undeadwalking.com. But they are quoting another article by another website. But I'm not a good enough journalist to give you that link. But if you read the article on Undead Walking, they do a really good summary of it, and I'm summarizing their summary. So you're getting like the cliff notes of the cliff notes.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, so apparently The Walking Dead is not only busting out all the ratings, but it's also like improving the stock of AMC. It just showing that it is such a powerful show.
Influences everything.
Yeah,
it has its claws
and
many facets.
Yeah, it's got many different. It's spinning a lot of plates.
It is.
IFC.com. That's the independent film channel, right?
That would be.
That's always hit or miss. The IFC channel, I remember I used to watch that back when we had satellite, and it was like either the best thing I ever saw,
or it was just terrible,
or at the end it was like Finn,
right?
And I didn't know what I just watched. A naked midget flipping pancakes with a clown crying in the room,
right?
Finn.
They've
got an article that is the 8 biggest oh shit moments from The Walking Dead, and again, this is one of my sight unseens. I like the headline. But I wanted to find out the 8 live on the air, so I don't like have a preconceived idea.
Okay.
All right, so number 8. The number 8 biggest oh shit moment from The Walking Dead is when Rick kills the young Walker in season 1. So the very first scene of The Walking Dead. Let's see if he gives any kind of explanation, because I can tell you a little bit of reason why that would make the list, even though I don't think it would pop into my head right away.
Right, no. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of the first thing you see.
Yeah, it's basically
it's a kid.
Yeah, this guy, the guy doing the article is basically saying like this, like in one scene kind of summarizes, you know, sort of what you're going to get in The Walking Dead. The
violence that you're going to
experience. Yeah, it's not complete. It's not complete. Like he's shooting a child in the head, and that was a big thing on TV. But at the same time, it shows the philosophical boundaries of The Walking Dead. It also shows kind of the mood, because it's not like a super like exciting scene where he's running and dodging zombies. I mean, it's just like he's like, I got to do this one thing, and it hurts me to do it. Kind of thing. Yeah, so I mean, I think it does kind of set the tone of the show like a little bit. That definitely. First scene. The number 7, Machone kills Penny in season 3. That was a big scene. Probably more for the governor.
Yeah.
Than and that actor was really good. I remember thinking like that, like he was really convincing in that scene.
Yeah.
That Machone killing his zombified daughter was like the most terrifying thing that could possibly happen to him. I mean, it seemed really convincing in a part of his character. Number 6, Shane kills Otis, season 2.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was one of the ones.
Cool. I mean,
that was one of the ones where you saw like
how far someone will go.
Yeah, how far Shane will go. And yeah, that was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I think Rick in the same shoes wouldn't have done even season 5 Rick wouldn't do that. I don't think he would have shot somebody in the knee.
Probably not.
I think he would.
He would have left him.
I think he would abstain from saving somebody, but like literally putting somebody in harm's way.
I think he would have realized that Otis probably wasn't going to make it anyway, and just be like, okay, so whatever.
Yeah.
Shane just went ahead and took care of it.
Rick would have just ran faster than Otis. Let's see. Number 5, Sophia coming out of the barn, season 2.
Yeah, of course.
Mid-season finale, right? That wasn't the season finale. No, it was the mid-season. Yeah, because the season finale, the farm gets burned down and everything.
Yeah, that's
and
right. Yeah,
Machone was the season finale. Yeah, again, the Sophia barn thing is kind of similar to the first scene in the first season. It just kind of shows the tone of the show. I think that is another oh shit moment. Let's see, what number are we on? I had to go to the next page. Number 4. I don't know if this is a big oh shit moment, but Lori gives birth in season 3.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't.
Unless there's something really.
He says these is really short articles. Looks like I wrote it. Baby Judith's birth, also Ziena Carl's childhood. Okay, I could see that. But oh shit, really? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Number 3. Oh, of course. Herschel loses his head, season 4.
Yeah.
And I hope he's referring to him actually getting his head chopped off and not like he's freaking out about it. Yeah, definitely Herschel's death was. I don't know what number 1's going to be if Herschel wasn't number 1. It's got to be.
Well, I mean, you got Rick biting the neck.
Oh, that's probably it. That's probably it. I can't see it yet. If I scroll down, I'll see it. I see number 2. I don't see number 1. I would guess. So if I'm just trying to guess something other than Rick biting the neck, I bet it'll be that. I'm gonna guess Stooky's leg.
Well, I mean, when was this made? It could be.
It's a recent article, so maybe it's Stooky's leg just to be current.
And yeah, I mean,
yeah, it might be. Number 2, the Terminus Slaughterhouse. Oh yeah, dude, that was fucking brutal.
Yeah,
that was great.
That was.
I love the opening of this season. I mean, it was
right.
It was rough. All right, I'm about to do it. Drum roll. Oh, Lizzie kills Mika. That was pretty shocking, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, well, I don't know why I didn't guess that was number 1.
I was going to say I didn't even remember the grove.
Yeah, No, that was really shocking and probably pretty stretching the boundaries of cable TV.
I mean, Carol killing, not just that,
of killing Lizzie,
right? I mean,
that whole episode's brutal,
right? I would have definitely not had Lori giving birth in that. That wasn't. I mean,
no. I think that Rick biting the dude's neck out could have replaced Lori giving birth.
Right.
I would also replace. Let's see, Lori giving birth. Herschel losing his head for sure needs to stay. Sophia comes out of the barn. That's another one that's important. Shane kills Otis. Maybe you could drop Shane kills Otis.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or Machone kills Penny. I mean, Machone kills Penny is important, but if you've only got 8,
right?
I don't know if it's in my top 8.
Right.
So let's see. Let's make a top 8. That'll be kind of fun. Want to do that? Really quick, just like top of your head, top 8, and let's try to use different ones than this one does.
Oh gosh, different ones?
Yeah, and we can combine it. So number 1, would you agree? God, I would say Herschel.
The most shocking moment?
Yeah, I think Herschel was to me, Herschel was. Well, we probably can't come up with 8, but we'll just come up with a few really shocking moments. Herschel to me was the most shocking in that I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Like, I think I knew that he was probably going to die.
Right.
But it's still just
not being chopped like that.
Yeah, it was just the way it happened, and then like just the air about it and everything. I think that was the most shocking to me.
Yeah.
And the Grove was definitely really shocking.
The Grove. Yeah, I mean, God, how did I forget about the Grove?
I don't know.
Thinking about that, but yeah, I mean, I would say with Rick biting the guy's neck, that's shocking and everything. But you see, like the need, and it makes more sense.
Yeah,
I guess in your mind than Carol shooting a girl and the girl killing her sister and trying to kill a baby.
The reason why that was so like television shocking was because on television there's always like the third option that's not mentioned, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, and this
right,
this is perfect, and then like that scenario of the episode The Grove was like there's no good solution, there's no right. There's like most storylines on television shows have a clear right and wrong, or like at least like you would but that episode was like there's no correct way to do this.
Right.
Like you just have to do it.
Well, most shows it's like you got the right way and the wrong way, and then you make a joke like, or you could just kill everybody. And The Walking Dead was just like, yeah, well, let's just do that.
Let's just do that. We'll go with that option. Yeah, dude, that episode that's really good television. It's crazy that came on TV, that someone wrote that. It's
right.
All along I was saying like it's not going to be the girl. It's not going to be the girl just because it seemed really obvious that it was her. But in the long run, I think the reaction that episode got, like from people that I knew that was watching the show, and people that I knew that wasn't watching the show that just happened to catch that one, that changed a lot of people's opinions. I think it really did.
Yeah. And
it pushed the envelope, which is what the comic did. I mean, the comic pushed the envelope as far as even the comic world, which you can almost do anything in.
Yeah.
And the television show is doing the same thing, in that spectrum. Let's see. The last thing on the news docket is, and I don't have a link to it, but I'll find a picture of it and post it in the show notes. I actually saw it.
I saw the
on Facebook
too.
Or something. Yeah. Garrett, the guy that plays Garreth, anyway, tweeted a picture of him eating some huge piece of meat.
Yes.
And it said, "Too soon." And I thought that was hilarious. And hashtag a man's got to eat.
A man's got to eat. Yes.
Which is telling about his character, right? Like he's just a man's got to eat.
Very practical.
Then we've got a recap of the episode, and let's see. So, like I said, just my quick thoughts on the episode was, I definitely enjoyed it. I think this season is going to be really good. I did think it was slow, but I kind of expected that. With The Walking Dead, you get the big bang, and then you get a few not filler episodes. There's no filler episodes.
No.
Dead. Can't skip any.
Mm-mm.
But you get a few where it's kind of like, all right, we're back in the rhythm of
everyday life.
Yeah, we're surviving. We're doing the everyday thing, for a little while, and then it had the big finale. So let's get into it, and then we'll go into what we think about Father Gabriel and the notches on the trees and all that jazz. This episode starts out with the group walking through the woods. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of walking through the woods.
They do a lot of walking.
This whole episode. Rick's talking. The first like conversation that kind of stuck out in my mind was Rick talking to Tara. Yep. And they're talking about, I don't remember who brings it up first. I think it's actually Rick that says like, I could tell that you didn't know who they were.
Right. You didn't realize what was going to happen.
Exactly.
Kind of
yeah. And so he kind of lets her know that, hey, she's
cool.
Yeah.
We're
and
down.
they even do the fist bump thing.
They even do the fist bump. And you could tell like in that scene when she's like really nervous, like, okay, I got to talk to this guy about this. He could like literally just kill me where I stand.
Yeah.
Or he's going to accept me.
Right, yeah, and Rick did a lot of that this episode, though. I mean, he kind of had a similar situation with Carol later on.
Oh yeah,
he did a lot of like kind of like making amends with a few people.
Yeah, he did, and that's what he accepts Carol. Carol accepts him, kind of thing. And I mean, is it forgotten? I mean, obviously. Not when we find out what happens later with Carol. I don't know that has anything to do with Rick necessarily. I think that's more Carol now. But
you talking about like
she tries to leave.
Has Carol forgiven Rick?
Has Carol forgiven Rick, or can she even just be a part of the group anymore?
I think she's looking. Carol's got this whole Shane thing going on right now.
Yeah, I think
where
so
Shane
too.
was trying to leave.
Yeah.
I think that
she's a warrior.
It's hard to say. I think that like we saw in the first episode, Carol didn't want to stay with Tyrese at Terminus.
Yeah.
Whenever they thought it was safe. And now she's not wanting to stay with this group. I think she's just like kind of like.
Does she think some of the things she's done means that she can't be part of a group? Yeah,
maybe after Rick put her out, and she's kind of decided, well.
Maybe I'm better off.
Maybe I'm better off for everybody else being alone. I don't know though. I don't know. That's her style though. I don't know, but she's definitely not. She's definitely trying to get away.
Right.
But I also think she definitely cares about the group. But let's see. So Machone definitely didn't get her sword back.
Yeah, she misses it.
Which we were wondering whether she got her sword because they never showed her getting it. And They did make a comment in this episode. She says something came up about the sword, and she says that it was before, like this. The sword wasn't me. Like there's something she says in the in the line.
She didn't have it before this all started. She
said she found it. Yeah, and just started using it every day, and that's how she got so good with it.
Well, she used it so much. Yeah,
and she says something about like I missed before or
yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Before it was a part of me, but now, basically she doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, but I hope she gets it back.
I do too.
I don't want to see her without it. I think Machordless. I think if Machone,
she does have the Klingon weapon going now, though.
Yeah, she's got that weird thing going on.
Yeah.
The batleth. It's not, well, you would use a batleth like an extension of your body. Do you think that's how she's using it?
Got sticks on both ends that are sharp.
I think it's more like Phantom Menace style. I don't know.
Could be.
But like, if she, I'm a little worried because if she stays alive with the group, I want her to have a sword.
Right.
I want her slicing heads in half and doing that whole thing.
Right.
Or if she doesn't have the sword anymore and they're just like, oh, Machone doesn't need a sword, I'm worried about her lifespan on the show now. Because they're changing her character and how much more they're going to do with her if they're doing that. So I don't know. The sword, I mean, it may be a subtle thing. It's got to come back up. I bet Garreth has it.
Maybe so.
I bet Garreth is like, I'm going to kill that bitch with her own sword.
Right.
Just to get even. And then it's too bad he wasn't like eating Snooky's leg like on the sword like a shish kebab.
That'd be awesome.
I bet that's where the sword comes back. I bet Garrett's got
there you go.
as like vengeance, like he's going to get revenge. Totally. And he's going to get killed with a red-handled machete. Let's see. The group of...
It shows them talking. Well, Carol and Daryl are like having a moment together.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you don't want to talk about it kind of thing.
Yeah, what were they referring to?
I think about what happened at the Grove.
I think that's what Daryl doesn't know.
Yeah,
though.
no, but I think he knows something happened. And that's why she keeps saying, I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's just about what happened.
Okay.
With,
that's totally feasible.
But they're just talking. He's saying I'm here, kind of thing, blah blah blah, and then it kind of flashes, and you see Daryl like get up. You think you hear something, and he's all like, looking around. It's like it's nothing, and then they dismiss it. Then you see a shadow. Yeah. Which I figured was.
I guess it's Garreth and them.
That's why I said I was like, it's got to be Garreth and them.
They're waiting for one of them to get away
from the other ones.
And the weird thing about that is like is Garreth like obviously he has a vendetta against this group.
Right.
It's not just like he makes it sound to Stookie at the end of the episode. He makes it sound like, oh, this could have been anybody.
Yeah.
We just eat people. That's what we do. And I think that was true. But I think now they're like, we're eating these motherfuckers.
Right. Even if another group comes by with like little children
we're going to eat them.
Easy to catch, we're going to go after these people. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And obviously they've been tracking them in some way for a little while. Cause Rick, the next day, when when Bob and everybody's walking through the woods, Rick says, he asked Daryl about, did you see anything? Daryl's like, not a trace. He's like, it's just a feeling. But so they it's like they know that somebody's tracking them, but they
also later on. I mean, we're about to get to that scene, but like whenever Rick hears the screams of Father Gabriel, he seems really
reluctant. Like, okay, so all this is happening, and now there's somebody screaming, kind of thing.
Yeah, he seems really suspicious of it, and like you could take it as well. Like they are getting to the point where they don't take new people in. Sometimes, definitely. I mean. Like they're more cautious of.
Well, the last two groups
people.
that they've run into have been,
been assholes.
Yeah, been big assholes.
But yeah, like I think that's kind of a layered perception that they want you to have. I think the first layer is that the untrusting, but I think that like an onion with many layers. I think the second layer is Rick suspicious of, some sort of trap, Admiral Akbar style. Let's see. But anyway, so while they're the same scene you're talking about where they're walking, they show Bob and Sushi playing this weird optimism game. That's what I call it, the optimism game. Where Sasha says like, "Oh, my socks are nasty," and he says something that keeps your feet cool or something stupid like that. It doesn't make any sense. They show Tyrese watching, and Tyrese is smiling like, which is a good thing, right?
I approve of this union.
If you were dating a girl and her brother was Tyrese,
right,
you might stop dating the girl if he didn't approve. He seems like he would be rough to be on the wrong side of. This is where they hear the screams, and again, Rick hesitates for what we discussed just a few seconds ago.
Carl's like, "No, we gotta go."
Yeah, we gotta go. Which it wasn't Glenn. And Glenn didn't say this wasn't a Glenn heavy episode either.
No, not at all.
But Carl kind of did the the Jiminy Cricket thing where he's like, "No, we gotta help." And so they go, and this is where they introduce Father Gabriel up on the rock. Now, you made a good point when we were setting up. Is this just too perfect?
Right.
That he just
happens to be on this rock. Like, he's been living obviously in this area like for a long time.
Yeah.
Why was he out on this day? Gets cornered on this rock at this time when these people.
And it could just be storytelling, but we're already suspicious because of watching the rest of the episode. We're already suspicious of Father Gabriel,
right?
And so
is he setting them up to come save him?
Yeah. Is he?
Because he says, they kill all the walkers and get them down at some point. Like Rick says, you don't have a weapon or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I can't remember what Rick says. Like, how did it, he says, I pray for help You know,
yeah. What are they asking the 3 questions?
No, I think before that, right after they got off the thing, and he says, you know, how do you expect to survive just by praying or something like that? And he's like, well, you came.
Yeah, well, you came along, right?
You came along. And I think,
like Rick's obviously suspicious of him,
right,
from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean that kind of like, it's a convenient story. Oh, you know, you came along and saved me. You know, it just happened to be, you know, God's intervention, or blind luck. Not I'm setting you up.
Yeah. Well, they ask him the 3 questions,
and they do ask him the 3 questions, which he fails.
They say, how many walkers have you killed?
None.
How many people have you killed?
None.
And why? Because God abhors violence.
Right.
Which I kind of like that there's a character in this world like this, right? But I think he's full of shit.
Right.
He's as full of shit as Eugene is.
I don't think he's full of shit in that I don't doubt that he hasn't killed.
Oh, maybe he hasn't. Yeah.
I don't think he's killed walkers or people. I think what he's done is just
allowed
as bad or worse.
Yeah.
He's facilitated things where people have been killed.
I think so too.
And he's turned, you know, the other cheek against it.
Yeah.
And you know, tries to justify, you know, whatever he's doing in some way, you know, still being religious. He's trying to justify it to him and God, I guess. But
yeah,
I think
I don't know his story from the comic, and I've purposely not looked.
Me too.
So like, what I'm kind of suspicious of is the church. So so he leads them back to the church. Basically, they ask him, "Is he with a group?" He says, "No." Does he have a house? No, but I have a church, and so he leads them back to the church. So they go to Father Gabriel's church, and the church, to me, is very similar to the funeral home and to the Grove, and the funeral home, in that it's just too perfect of a place.
Right.
And I really think that, you know, we've seen, like, Scott Gimple likes to leave these kind of clues in the show more so than the previous showrunners, and you know,
definitely.
I really feel like whenever they were at the Grove, they made a point to like talk about, oh, this place is perfect. Right. It has food. It has food. Yeah, it has gas,
supplies. It has all this stuff.
And they did it a lot in the Beth and Daryl episode where they're at the funeral home. It was just like, you know, they were talking about how perfect everything was.
Well, it's like a mousetrap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, somebody stumbles upon it and it's perfect. You're not going to leave.
Yeah.
And then they can come back whenever they want to, and they check their trap.
Yeah.
If something's there, they got it.
I think that's exactly what it is. And I think it's the same people that got Beth.
Yep.
I think it's the people with the cross on the car. And I think that Father Gabriel may be keeping up one of these mouse traps.
He's part of the cheese.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the church is just too perfect, and it's so out of the way.
Right.
I mean, I guess the church had to exist before. They didn't just build the church, but it just seems like if you were looking for a place, like if you're just definitely. Like this would be one of the places, you know. And so whenever they get to the church, we kind of get into a little bit more of Father Gabriel's story, and it just doesn't make sense either. You know, they basically ask him like how he survived this long. He kind of talks like he's just been stuck in this church
for years.
It had to be 3 or 4 years that this has been going on now.
And that's the thing, like, he just ran out of food. You would think, you know.
If you raised 4 years worth of food in a canned food drive.
You did a great job. I mean, that was the best canned food drive in history.
That's success, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there couldn't have been that much food. So, I mean, he had to have been resupplied or something. I mean, that I thought of that during it. And, I mean.
Completely. I mean, even if you rationed it.
Even if you rationed it.
It wouldn't last that long.
And you stay, even if you're like that, you stayed in this one spot for that long just to stay there. I mean, it seems weird.
Yeah.
You know.
So who are we kind of are, we're kind of under the assumption, just based on the way it kind of feels actually, that it's not Gareth's group that's doing the mouse traps.
No.
But it seems perfect that it would be. I mean, they eat people. These people are catching people. What else would they be doing with them besides eating them?
I think maybe they have something like maybe it's part of the group that took over Terminus the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to do with that group, but I don't think it's them necessarily because there wasn't any of that cross motif and all that stuff at Terminus.
At Terminus, yeah.
So I think it is separate, but like I said, maybe it's that group came through Terminus, tortured Garreth and all them, kind of turned them into like a shoot off of their group without knowing it.
Right.
I mean, they kind of basically turned into what their captors were.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and I don't, maybe it's just coincidence that they're that close. I don't know, but I think there's definitely two different.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're saying this is the group that originally
the crazy hair guy was part of.
Oh, because see, I kind of think that was like if they go the direction I want them to go in, then those people are at Washington right now waiting on them to get to Alexandria. But yeah, they might not be doing that, and it might be the same people. I don't know, but like I definitely think that whoever they are, Father Gabriel's helping them, and I just can't believe there'd be two groups of cannibals. But I like your theory about how Group B, Terminus, is cannibals because Group A was cannibals, and then they became like their captors. I like that theory.
Right.
That seems much more plausible than just they happen to also live in the same town and they both eat people. All right, so Father Gabriel tells Rick about that he's running out of food, which, again, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Just ran out of food, just got stuck on the rock when they just happened to walk by and save him.
Right.
Perfect timing.
Hey, there's this place that has a bunch of food.
Yeah,
in town.
There happens to be this place in town. He can't get in there because there's a dozen walkers in it.
Yep.
And so he can't go in there, and they just happen to come, and they're good at killing walkers.
Right. So Rick gets up a group. They decide that they're going to go to this place.
I think Rick makes a good decision by making Father Gabriel go with him.
Yeah, he says, Father Gabriel's like, I'll tell you where it is. No, you're going to go. And he's like, I'll just be a hindrance or whatever. He's like, no, you're going to go.
Yeah.
He still suspects that, there's something wrong. And that's when he talks to Carl. He's like, you're not safe. And then,
what a crazy conversation that was.
Yeah, and essentially that conversation was that. He's like, this guy may look this way.
Well, I thought it was more. So I get what you're saying. It's definitely why he brought it up.
Right.
But the conversation was almost like bigger than that. Like it was like, like you just we settled at the prison, and we tried to make it safe, and that wasn't safe.
Right.
It's just there is no more safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we raise kids now is different because there is no more safe. Yeah. I thought that was really just a really good conversation between father and son like that. It was really, I don't know, it was really just telling of the situation.
Don't trust anyone.
Yes.
I mean, do not trust anyone.
It's crazy.
And so and then he basically tells him, hey, I need you to be the lookout too. I need you to keep an eye on things. You are, I'm trusting you with Judith. And so then they go off and they go to town. It's you've got Rick, Stookie, Sasha,
Rick, Stookie, Sasha, Gabriel,
Glenn, Maggie, Gabriel.
Was that it? I think it was it.
I think that's it. Yeah. And so they go to this food bank. They bust in. It's in like a town somewhere.
Which it's kind of weird in itself that the town's that close to the church.
And it's a big town. But obviously, it's big enough to have a food bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and nobody's gotten the food. But I guess nobody's gotten the food because it's flooded downstairs.
Right.
Which makes sense. If it wasn't flooded, there would be no food there.
Right.
And it's odd that Father Gabriel, not leaving the church, automatically knew that the food was still there.
Right.
That's weird, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, they go in.
This douche is up to something.
I mean, they bust in the door. They kill, I think they kill maybe one or two walkers up top.
Yeah.
And then they look down. There's like a big hole in the floor, and there's like a big underground, like another floor that's just basically
it's like the
knee
basement,
deep in water, and there's a bunch of like
that's where all the
shells,
food is.
and there's these oozy kind of waterlogged walkers down there. But anyway, so they decide they're going to go down there. They trap themselves in behind the shelves. They start killing these walkers. And, I mean, they seem to be doing a pretty good job. This one weird woman walker thing.
Glasses lady. She was totally the same lady that was in the picture at the end.
I have to double check that.
I'm pretty sure.
But Father Gabriel sees her, freaks out, makes a break for it, and then can't get away. Rick sees it, decides he's going to save Father Gabriel.
Yeah.
Then all hell breaks loose. They save him. They think they kill everybody. And now, I didn't see this either. A couple guys mentioned it at work. There was apparently bubbles.
I heard that too. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this walker comes up out of the depth.
Which, by the way, why was there bubbles?
Right. It wouldn't
I didn't
be breathing.
even think about that.
That's what I thought when they said it today at work, and I was like, "Why would there be bubbles? Because they're not breathing."
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, it comes up, grabs Stookie, and then pulls him under. He's underwater for a little while.
Probably got bit.
Probably gets bitten.
But
he plays it off. He comes up, and I thought he's going to get bit. I thought he was going to get bit on the arm or something. They're going to chop his arm off or something.
Yeah.
But he comes up. They take Sasha, kills him, I think, and he's like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm just shaking up," kind of thing. And then they go on. They wheel the food back to the.
I wonder how. So we've seen different varying times of people that get bit. In the first season, that guy, he was like sick for like 3 days.
Right. Even the CDC guy said it varies from person to person. So.
It does. Yeah. So I mean, it's possible that he got bit.
Right.
But anyway, so when they get back, so Rick saves Gabriel, which I guess is if Gabriel really hasn't killed any zombies, then it would make sense why he didn't kill the woman in the glasses. But even if he has, Rick still doesn't know because he knows that Rick thinks that he hasn't, so he wouldn't.
Well, when I was watching it, I was thinking
he's going to get over it and do it.
Well, no, I was thinking that he did that on purpose to see if Rick would save him. And and maybe he just put his trust. Maybe that's part of what he's supposed to be doing is like getting these people to trust him.
Yeah. That's definitely part of what he's doing.
Well, yeah.
I don't think he did it on purpose, though. I think it's the woman from the picture, man. I'm pretty
sure.
That
makes more sense if he freaked out because of the woman.
Yeah, it's totally the same woman. I'm like pretty positive. I heard somebody else say it too to confirm me. Of course, I thought that was Garreth at the end of the first episode, and it wasn't. So I was wrong there.
But Carl wants to show Rick something at the church, so he shows him like this window, and it's got like little marks around it, like somebody's been digging a knife in trying to get the wood like popped out and stuff. And they're kind of talking about looks like somebody's trying to get in, blah blah. And he takes them around the side, and there's a message scrawled out in knife. Into the wood on the side of the church.
You'll burn
for this.
So what do you think this means?
Right. So assuming that it is what that he's like part of this trap, I think he trapped somebody and they put that message there. They were trying to get away or something. But
if they were
like
on the outside trying to get in.
Well, I think
I
think it could have been
I have a simple solution that I hope it could be this just because it's kind of the simplest, but I hope that it's not this because I really hope Father Gabriel has something to do with that other group. The simple solution is that Father Gabriel didn't allow anybody else into the church. Whenever he saw things were going south and he saw that he had all the food, he locked everybody else out. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want it to be that simple. I want it to be like he's been hoarding people for this other group. But I think that it's pretty plausible that it's
Well, I think it could have started as that, and
Yeah.
then it became now he's hoarding people for.
Yeah, he's got something to do with this other group. He definitely does. Whether
But yeah, that makes sense though. If he didn't allow people to take sanctuary.
Yeah, I think that he he saw what he had and that he couldn't spare and he didn't let anybody in.
Right.
I think is what it is.
I like it. But yeah, so that now they're that just feeds into his Rick's, distrust.
I think I like Father Gabriel, but I want to know what his secret is.
Right.
And I think it's dark.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But they get all this food and all this stuff back, and so they kind of have like a little shindig that night in the church.
Yeah. Communion wine
and some beanie weenies and stuff, and Rick's holding the baby, and Abraham gives the speech about that this is great, and we're celebrating surviving and stuff like that, but we could do more than survive.
Yeah. How long do you want to just survive?
How long do you just want to survive? And then he gives the speech about saving the world and saving the world for Judith.
Did you think it was a little too easy to convince Rick? Like Rick kind of jumped right on board, so that was first again an onion.
Right.
The first pill was man, that was really easy for Rick to just jump right on board. And before this, he wasn't on board.
Right.
And then it just flipped the script right in this one speech. But then the next layer is, what else does Rick have? Like this is the first time in a long time since season 2 that we've seen Rick with like, we got nothing, so
let's just go.
We're starting over.
Well, I think he knows that the church, he already suspects.
Oh yeah.
So he knows that this isn't some long-term thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we're going to go, we got to stay together, because everyone else has already said, kind of not choosing sides, but you've seen some dialogue where like that scene where Rick goes one way and everyone's going, I'm going with him to Abraham.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you've also heard some people say, this is
like Stookie seemed to be heavily for what do you say? You can't fight City Hall or something.
Yeah,
like
so,
he's going to Washington.
And I think Rick understands that he's got a good group, so he wants to stay with them.
He don't want them to split up.
He doesn't want to split up. So, and he's got nothing better to do.
I don't think he thinks Eugene's got anything though.
Right, yeah. So anyway, Rick gives his blessing to the adventure, and Bob and Sasha kind of go back to the little game they were playing before about
the optimism game,
and he's like, give me a kiss, and he's like, give me one more, just one more.
The way he said it, I was like, something's bad. Something's bad. Gonna happen.
That's what I said. It's like he said that a little too final.
Yeah, I feel like they took a couple shots of that, like, so it was probably important. Right.
Yeah. And so he goes outside, and you could tell he's crying, and I'm like,
well, he's really happy at first. He walks outside and he's kind of like happy, looking back at
he hears the laughter and all that, and he's like,
and I thought they're gonna come up and slit his throat is what I thought was gonna happen or something, and then he starts crying, and you're like, wow,
because that's what I thought. He's like, okay, so he's going to shoot himself,
or
hang himself,
or
whatever.
I hadn't thought about that. He probably gotten bit. At this point, I was still like, oh, whew, Stookie didn't get bit. It wasn't until they revealed at the end that they were eating his leg that I was like, oh, he's probably going to do what Daryl did in the comic. Yeah, or Dale did in the comic.
I thought, that's when he went out there. I thought the whole reason he went out there was because he knew he got bit and he was going to end it.
Yeah.
And that was the last time he was going to see them. He was happy because he knew that she was happy and that they were in a good spot.
Yeah.
And then it, dawned on him that he was going to have to leave all that. He was actually happy.
I think that was what was going through his mind.
Because he's talked about being alone and not having a group and all that stuff, and now he's got one. And, that just kind of hit him. I think that's what he was getting ready to do. I think he was getting ready to kill himself. And then you see this thing come in and hit him or whatever, and he goes down. And then an axe or something makes a big chop mark on the
tree. They make the big mark on the tree.
They make a mark on the tree,
which
still don't know what that means.
Yeah, and the mark on the tree. So like we should talk about that too. Like the marks on the trees at the end of episode 1 was an X with a circle around it.
Right.
And Morgan was following those, and we don't know who was placing them, but I think we're kind of meant to believe that maybe it's the hunters.
Right.
But they're not putting an X with a circle. They're just putting one mark, and that's like their mark, you know?
Right. So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, so there's definitely 2 different groups going on right now. And then the cross people, are they the X's with the circle?
Who knows?
Or is there 3 groups going on?
Is there 3 groups?
I'm getting confused.
It could be 4.
This is getting confusing.
All will be revealed. But yeah, I mean, so, you know, we don't know. That's when I thought, okay, it's got to be the hunters. It's got to be Garreth. That's what, you know, when he went down. But anyway, then they flash to Carol out that car that they had come across earlier, and she checks it to see if it'll start, and it does. And, you know, she's getting ready to leave. Daryl comes out. It's like, you know, hey, you know, don't leave.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of had a conversation about being alone and leaving and yada, yada. And they hear a car drives by. Daryl runs out there.
Sure damn enough.
And
it's the cross window car.
It's a car with a cross in it. And
do we know if it was the same kind of car?
I don't think it was the same car, no.
I'm going to look that up while we're talking.
So he immediately runs back, and Carol doesn't know what's going on. And he picks up his crossbow and starts smashing the brake lights out so it won't show up in the dark. And he's like, tells Carol to get in. He's like, those are the people that have Beth. And so she jumps in. They speed away after the car. And that's kind of the last we see of them. Now, obviously, it's got to be relatively close to where the church is. That kind of tells you that these people do kind of, they're prowling the same area that the church is in, so that's kind of telling as well.
Yeah, I think they're the people that are setting the traps. I think Gabriel has something to do with them. But are they also the same people that's leaving the X's on the trees?
Maybe so. I mean,
they might be. I did a
that
Google
might
search.
Be part of the trap.
Yeah, I did a Google search, and I've got I did a Google search for car with cross symbol and The Walking Dead, and those X's. There's a lot of pictures of those X's, so I think there's probably some people that are speculating the same thing, that that the 2 is connected.
Right.
Pictures side by side of the car. No, I don't think it's the same car.
I don't think so either.
Which means that it's definitely a group. It's not, because if it was the same car, then that just means one guy could be driving around with a car.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a cult kind of thing, the car club.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we're left with, okay, they're gone after these people, and then like when it comes back, you see like this blurry kind of image coming into focus, and of course the first thing I notice is, hey, that's the asshole that Tyrese is supposed to have killed.
I know, me too. And here's the messed up thing: his face isn't even that pounded up.
No,
it should have been swollen.
That's what I'm saying. I think he hit him like once, maybe twice.
Was there a gap in time between the first?
No,
and second
but I don't.
episode?
I think because in that episode you see him punch him twice.
Yeah.
And then the rest, which you think he's punching and killing this guy, is from the outside.
Yeah.
Because you hear it.
Yeah.
And you hear Tyrese yelling. I think he was just hitting the floor.
Might have been. I mean, that's crazy.
I think he hit the dude twice, knocked him out, and then sat there and beat on the floor like he couldn't hit the guy, and then lied about it. Because obviously the dude's alive. So now you know, okay, this is Terminus. These are termites.
They're the termites, yeah.
And then, you know, it comes to, and then, you know, the picture comes more into focus, and there's Garreth. And, you know, he's like, it's Stooky. or Bob, he calls him.
Yeah, he calls him Bob, and he's being all Garrethy.
Yeah, I mean, like he needs that clipboard. You know, he's just very matter of fact, practical. You know, he's like, hey, you know, I understand what y'all did. You know, he's like, hey, no big deal. I understand what y'all did, but you know, y'all did this, and now you're gonna have to face the consequences of what you did. And he was like, but.
Tells him it's not personal.
It's not personal.
We would do this to anybody.
We just eat people, kind of thing. And
this is what we do.
This is what we do,
as you do.
And you know, he's just like I said, matter of fact. And you could tell Stookie. Now we talked about this too. Stookie had to have been more than just knocked over the head and knocked out. Because of what okay, so you know, he finally realizes that his leg is missing and Garreth is eating a big chunk of meat.
Yeah.
But if he would have just been knocked out when they cut his leg off, he would have come to.
Right.
And the way he was coming to in that scene was kind of like a groggy coming out of medicine type of thing. So, I mean, I would think that they had to have put him out some way.
Yeah.
And his leg looked like it had been...
They've got some of those Dexter syringes.
Right.
Yeah.
And his leg looked like they had taken care of it.
Yeah, like, because they're keeping him alive.
Because they're keeping him alive. Yeah. So, you know, they want to eat part of the other leg and, you know, keep going.
Is he just going to, like, by the end of this season, just be like a torso on a backpack?
That'd be awesome.
They're carrying around. And then at the end of the season, he reveals, like, oh, you assholes are infected because I got bit.
It's only a flesh wound.
There was a guy dressed up as him at New York Comic Con, and he looked perfect. He looked just like the movie.
But so Garreth is like, you know, it could have been anybody. They grabbed. Essentially, he's saying, hey, we grabbed you because you walked outside and you were by yourself, so you big dummy. But we would have grabbed whoever. It didn't matter to us, and we're gonna keep grabbing you. And we're going to take the rest of you.
And he says, like, it's ironic being you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating that Stookie must have been... Because we know that Stookie came from a previous group. And we kind of assume... Well, at first we kind of assumed it was the governor's group. But then they did kind of drop a few hints that it wasn't the governor's group.
Right.
Because when the scenes where they saw him whenever he was walking through the woods and he made that, like fence thing to keep the zombies out and he's drinking NyQuil and stuff. A lot of people are saying, like, is this a symbol? Is this a sign that Garreth knew Bob? I don't think so either. I think he was referring to episode 1.
I think
Garreth was referring to, you're the people that destroyed Terminus.
Right.
That's why it's ironic.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean.
It's ironic because you destroyed us and I'm going to destroy you.
But, like, so first Ashley said it at work. And I was thinking, oh, she just didn't get it. But then someone else said it. It might have been Andrew or somebody. And then when we were prepping for the show today, I was looking up, you know, the Walking Dead news, and one of the news articles was Stookie in with the termites before the group.
See, to me, that
he
just
wouldn't
doesn't
have
make
led.
sense.
He wouldn't have led Sasha and them to the.
He definitely wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
He didn't, like, it wasn't his job to go out and get them and bring them back, because if it was, that was like the worst plan I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I was going to stay with them for like over a year.
Yeah, and then lead them back and get separated.
Very slowly. Yeah.
I mean, that would, no.
No, yeah, and I didn't even think about, that's the problem with that whole story, is that, like, whenever they saw the Terminus signs.
And it's always been called Terminus.
Yeah.
So as soon as they saw those signs,
he should have been like, "Oh no, don't go with them.
These guys are assholes. Do not go that way."
Yeah. I think people are just misunderstanding.
Yeah.
He totally meant from episode 1.
Yeah, and so and then like so he's eating a big hunk of meat, and what does he say? We didn't realize you were going to taste so good.
Yeah. Something about him tasting good.
And then and that's when you're like, whoa. What the? And that's how it ends.
You know what's crazy is that so far, so I said, surely someone from the group, from Rick's group, is going to end up eating human meat and not know that that's what they're eating. And they didn't do that. And I don't see an opportunity for them to now either. Yeah, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be part of their group either.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that promo video looked like.
Oh, that had to be. That
was just creative editing on their part. Because there's no way they're going to be in the same room sitting down talking.
I mean,
like
it looked like he was in the church,
right? Yeah, definitely.
And everything. Yeah, and then maybe he will be in the next episode, but it'll be under hostage watch.
Definitely not a casual conversation.
Right, and part of the misleading promo is that the scenes where Rick is telling Carl not to trust Gabriel, I thought he was telling him not to trust Garreth.
Garreth, I did too.
Yeah, so like all those scenes were kind of like, meant for Father Gabriel, not Garreth, but not knowing Father Gabriel yet. You see the preview and you're like, shit, they're gonna they're like riding off in the sunset together, you know. So I don't know. I want to see more of Terminus. What if we get so? All right, let's get into speculation now. We've finished this. What they said we're going to see more Terminus. I can't believe that the whole Terminus story would have been wrapped up in 2 or 3 episodes, in 3 episodes, 3 or 4 episodes. I think it's going to take the whole mid-season. And if Stookie got bit, if he's infected, and they're eating Stookie, does that necessarily make it so that they're in? Because everybody's infected. Does that spring on the activation? You know what I mean? Does.
And we were talking about
in the comic. It did.
So I think that's going to be their demise. I think he's going to somehow reveal that he was bit, and they're going to die from it.
Yeah.
And I think Rick and them. I don't think it's going to be a secret though. I mean, I think they'll try and capture more people or something like that. But I don't think it's going to be the actual time frame. And actual time isn't going to be that long, but I think they're going to drag it out. And the way they could do that would be to flash back.
That's what I was about
Terminus
to say.
And show them kind of how they were before and how they became cannibals. And, because they've already hinted at, these people and, the things in that room and all that stuff. And you kind of know what it is, but maybe they'll go flashback so you understand more of where they came from, and then they can make a whole episode of something like that.
I'm wondering if the next episode will be mostly flashback.
Yeah,
that's what I'm kind of. That's what I was getting at. I'm wondering if we're gonna have mostly flashback.
And then I think and as I said, I think relatively quickly the Terminus thing will work itself out, and then I think the focus will be on
whoever this other
group is.
Which might be the Saviors, man. I don't know.
That would be my guess.
It doesn't make sense that they're in Georgia right now, but then again, the show's so different. So, I mean.
Right. And it could be like the North Atlanta chapter of
the different chapter.
Saviors.
Yeah.
I mean.
They might be like the Hells Angels. Dude, the Hells Angels, what would they do in the zombie apocalypse?
Right. Kick ass.
They would, yeah. Yeah, they would.
Join them.
I don't even think they would know what was going on. They're just somewhere off on an island, like doing their normal thing, and then somebody goes into town and they're like, "Dude, you're not going to believe this. Everybody's dead and walking around."
Sounds like one of our parties.
But yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more flashbacks after this.
I do too.
And I think we're also going to get more of what's going on with the other group, and. The whole Morgan thing, I think it's a little bit of a ruse. I think he's going to show up at the end.
I do too. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think that this might be like one of those weird things that every season, like one episode, you're going to see like Morgan come up from behind the stump or something, look around, and then go back down and be like, there he was.
Yeah, it's just going to be like a reoccurring thing. And then at the very finale, at the very end of the show, Morgan's going to be like, I've been following you all along, and save the day somehow.
He's going to reach out. I found you. And then somebody's going to shoot him.
Oh, what movie is that where there's a movie where that happens?
It's got to be.
Oh, it's The Shining. In the movie The Shining, the kid shines you remember the director guy that could tell that the kid was shining?
Yeah.
And he goes back to California or somewhere
with the axe in the back. Yeah.
He goes back to California, and then the kid shines him and tells him things are going bad. And then they have all these weird scenes
of him flying.
Yeah, he takes an airplane and then he rents
a
car. then he gets there, and Jack Nicholson just kills him right as soon as he walks in
the door. That was strange.
Yeah, I think there's like a director's cut version or something that cuts all that out, like because it's completely pointless.
I love when he's.
It does save the wife, so like that's the scene where he's pounding on the door, and because the snowmobile comes up, he's like, "Oh, what's that?" But then he just kills him. It seems like it would have been more heroic than that.
I love when they show him like in his bedroom, and he's got that giant velvet painting of like the naked black chick with the big afro.
I forgot about that.
You're just like, wow, how random is that?
I forgot all about. I don't know why that's there. Oh my god, I love that movie though.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me find.
Well, just so you know, that he in the book he doesn't die at all.
Oh really?
No.
Yeah, I heard it's completely different.
And he's actually a character in the sequel book, so it's kind of hard to do the sequel movie without him.
Aren't they supposed to be doing the sequel movie?
I think they're going to redo The Shining again.
You know what I was
to be more like the book.
We just got off on this whole tangent, but you know what I saw? They're doing a in Canada. They're doing a like a remastered release to theaters of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah,
and I wish that was happening here. I'd like to see that in theaters. Right. Yeah, because I'm way too young to have ever had a chance to see that in theaters. So yeah, I think we're gonna get more flashbacks. I think that there's 3 groups involved right now, including I think there's Rick's group, Cannibal group, and then possibly a second Cannibal group. Things are gonna go haywire. I can't wait to watch Sunday.
No doubt.
And be sure to tune in next week. Thursday seems to be a good day for now. But talktowalk.com. You can find other great shows over at undercastnetwork.com. And follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/talkthewalk. Thanks for listening.